boys aerosolizing themselves with a body spray called Stadium, which seemed to be half pine sap, half A1 sauce. Then, overstimulated, they all fled the dorm and spread out across campus, heading toward various darkish parties that vibrated with identically shattering bass. Woolley was old and decrepit, one of the original buildings, and the walls of Greer's room, as she'd described them to Cory the day she arrived, were the disturbing color of hearing aids. The only people who remained there after the exodus that night were an assortment of lost, unclaimed souls. There was a boy from Iran who appeared very sad, his eyelashes clustered together in little wet starbursts. He sat in a chair in a corner of the first-floor lounge with his computer on his lap, gazing at it mournfully. When Greer entered the lounge, her room, a rare single, was too depressing to stay in all evening, and she'd been unable to concentrate on her book. She was startled to realize that he was merely looking at his screensaver, which was a picture of his parents and sister, all of them smiling at him from far away. The family image swept across the computer screen and gently bounced against one side before slowly heading back. How long would he watch his bouncing family, Greer wondered. And though she didn't miss her own parents at all, she was still angry with them for what they had done to her, which had resulted in her ending up at Ryland. She felt sorry for this boy. He was away from home on another continent, at a place that perhaps someone had mistakenly told him was a first-rate American college, a center of learning and discovery, practically a school of Athens nestled on the east coast of the U.S. After managing the complicated feat of getting here, he was now alone and quickly becoming aware that this place actually wasn't so great. And besides that, he was also pining for his family. She knew what it was like to miss someone, for she missed Cory so continually and pressingly that the feeling was like its own shattering bass vibrating through her, and he was only 110 miles away at Princeton, not across the world. Greer's sympathies kept collecting and expanding, while in the doorway of the lounge appeared a very pale girl who stood clutching her midsection and asking, "Do either of you have something for diarrhea?" "Sorry, no," said Greer, and the boy just shook his head. The girl accepted their responses with a grim weariness, and then, for lack of anything else to do, she sat down too. Curling through the porous walls came the smell of butter, plus tertiary butyl hydroquinone, alluring but inadequate to the task of cheering anyone up. Moments later, this was followed by the source of the smell, a big plastic tub of popcorn conveyed by a girl in a robe and slippers. "I got the kind with movie theater butter," she said to them as an added inducement, holding out her bowl. Apparently, Greer thought, these are going to be my people. Tonight and perhaps every weekend night. It made no sense. She didn't belong with them. And yet she was among them. She was one of them. So she took a hand-span's worth of popcorn, which was so wet that her fingers felt as if she'd draped them through soup. Greer was about to sit down and attempt a conversation. They could tell one another about themselves, how bleak they felt. She would stay in this lounge, even though Cory had encouraged her earlier not to stay in tonight, but instead to go out to a party or some sort of campus event. "There has to be something going on," he'd said. "Improv. There's always improv." It was her first weekend at college, and he thought she should just try. But she'd said no, she didn't really want to try. She would rather get through it her own way. During the week, she would be a super student, working in a carrel in the library, her head bent over a book like a jeweler with a loupe. Books were an antidepressant, a powerful SSRI. She'd always been one of those girls with socked feet tucked under her, her mouth slightly open in stunned, almost doped-up concentration. All written words danced in a chain for her, creating corresponding images as clear as the boy from Iran's bouncing